Today, I would like to share some content that is a little bit different to what you would usually see in my channel, and is related to my spiritual awakening, which happened in 2014. I haven't been telling this story to many people because I was feeling in the spiritual closet, let's say. So I don't want anyone else that's going through a process of awakening to feel alone or to feel that they cannot share with other people, because there is more people going through it. And when I went through it, I felt very, very alone. And it's something that I just don't want any other people to experience. So welcome to my channel. My name is Ingrid from My Inner Palette, and with that said, my inner palette is just an expression of my inner soul, the palette that I choose to paint my life canvas with. So it's not only about art, it's also about just being a spiritual self, having a human experience. And with that said, let's get cracking with how was it like to go through my awakening on 2014. When it happened after a traumatic event for me. Obviously, trauma can mean different things for different people. It was after a traumatic event. I didn't have my close family. Well, I didn't have any family close by. I didn't have any close friends. I was living in a different country, different language. So I felt quite alone through the process. But by saying that, I also got, in a way, little angels popping through my process, making sure that I was still moving forward, instead of just going into a hole. So I was in a romantic relationship with someone, and this person in the past had been my life support in a way. It was my life jacket. I had many childhood traumas and complicated relationships and situations in my life, and this person I became very codependent with. So this person would help me in a way, and I was always kind of like very attached to that particular person, just because I felt like if I let go, I'm just gonna be completely lost again. And when I was going through this process, this person was removed in a way from my life, and it was through a traumatic event for me. Then I felt very lost. I felt I have lost the support that I had. It was kind of like the only person that I could think of having like some type of support. So it was quite difficult at the time. And the beauty of it is that when this happened, because I was by myself in a strange country back then, I knew I had to pull myself back into health, into like being mentally healthy and sustain myself and not go down the hole, because I just couldn't let myself going through that. So this was the catalyst event that happened. But then is when everything started changing and moving into a much more healthy place. And I remember that's when I started like with my first meditations. I've had meditated before, but really didn't pay much attention. I didn't feel like, oh yeah, this is something that I want to do. I had done an energy healing course and things like that, and I just look at people like, oh, they look like a little bit like crazy, like moving their hands, doing something. I don't feel anything or things like that. But then after this event where everything in my life seemed to crumble and I didn't had any support to hold on to, is when I started looking within into myself. I remember I started meditating every day. I didn't know really how to meditate, but I started with 10-minute meditations, guided meditations, with some mantras, with the meanings of the chakras, some colors and things like that. And I remember doing this consistently for a long, long time. And just that little thing of starting to meditate 10 minutes a day, I would wake up, sit on my bed, and meditate for those 10 minutes. That started becoming my lifeline. And at that point, I didn't know it, but at that point, I started, like, everything started improving in my life. Little by little. It wasn't like a massive change straight away, but that started connecting myself to my spiritual self in a much more direct way. Other than the meditation, I try to not go through the emotions so much, or not go into the emotion. Like, yes, I felt a lot of things, but it would spiral into very negative type of emotions and thoughts. So I started like going back, like, okay, how can I make myself feel better? How can I heal myself? So I started kind of like listening to different type of music, like empowering music or things like that. I started seeing, I remember I looked like a little bit crazy back then, maybe even now for some, who knows. I started looking into angel numbers, because I started like seeing repeated patterns. I was like, it cannot be that this is just like a coincidence. Like, I've seen this like for like over and over on the same day, like the same number combinations. So then I started looking back then, like, what is this? So I remember Googling. I was like, angel numbers, what is this? And I started receiving, in a very magical way, these little messages of support. And I remember in the whole process, it's not like it took like a month, you know. It's like it was like a fairly long process of awakening and just like growing through it. Then I started realizing that, you know what, I've always thought that that someone was gonna save me from my challenges, that someone was gonna come here as a hero, and like with like the prince in the princess story that comes and slays the dragon and take you to safety. But then I realized through this whole process that that's not the case. You are your own hero. You are your own dragon slayer, if you want to put it that way. You are the one that has all the power within to be the best version of yourself. And once you realize that, everything starts changing, because then you can see that all the thoughts and all the reality, the emotions that you're feeling, they're a fabrication of your mind. That the mind is the one with the ego, and the ego is trying to protect you, like, no, you don't go there, because if you do, we're gonna be in danger. We don't know what's behind door number 3, right? So just stay here in this room that you know what's in it. You can see everything that is here. It's the known. And within the known, there's something that I like calling the uncomfortable comfortable. So you stay in a place of comfort, but a lot of times this comfort zone or the comfort place is actually very uncomfortable. But because you know it, you just stay there, because it's too terrifying to go out and opening door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, or like the gazillion other doors that you actually have available. And after the whole process, I started realizing that the most important relationship that I could cultivate in a healthy way was with myself. And it has been a very long process and ongoing. It's not that, oh, I'm 100% healed and now I don't have any type of limiting beliefs or anything to work on. Yes, no, there's always more to work on. There's always more layers. We're like little energetic onions that we peel one layer, and suddenly we find another layer and another layer and another layer. And sometimes things that I've worked on myself, and I don't know, like 5 years ago, sometimes they come back now. And it's like, wait a minute, but I've seen this already. Why is it coming back now? And yet it has a different level of depthness to work on. So if you're going through any type of spiritual awakening, fear not. There's so many people that is going through similar type of awakenings. And I know that in the last few years, a lot of people started having more and more of these awakenings due to recent events. And even for me, that was like another layer of awakening within my awakening process. I got to a place that, okay, I've awakened myself, but then it was like an awakening through the collective, through like understanding how we're all in this together. And the idea is that we help each other out, that we're there for each other, that we stop judging ourselves and others. But most importantly, start with yourself. Stop judging yourself. Start observing. Those are like the main relevant, insightful ways that I can help, is that start observing your thoughts. Thoughts, they become words, and they also go through the emotional part. So whenever you're thinking something, like saying like, oh, I don't like myself, and you look in the mirror and you see this image of yourself, like, oh, I don't like myself, I don't like this, I don't like that, or whatever it is, those thoughts and words create certain emotions within you. And when you're feeling like, I don't like myself, it's obviously not a high vibration emotion. The one that you're feeling, it's very low. So here is just let go of that judgment and let yourself like go up and vibrate higher. Because the sooner as you work in the relationship that you have with yourself, the sooner you're gonna start feeling better, you're gonna start vibrating higher, you're gonna start attracting different things to yourself, because you're gonna have that magnetic power. Not that you don't have it now, but like if you're vibrating really low, whatever you're attracting to your life is also low vibrational things. So it could be friendships, it could be food, it could be the way that you relate to other people, the activities that you're doing, anything in your life. So if you are starting to vibrate higher, then those are the type of things that you start attracting to your life. And I invite you to do that. So best thing is to work in the relationship with yourself. And yes, if you don't know how to do that and I can be of support, you can check on my website as well, my-inner-palette.com. So I invite you to have a look, and if you feel drawn on working with me, I'm right here, and everything is just easy to connect if we're online. So I hope that you have a lovely and beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever you are in the world. And it was lovely to share this message with you. Bye.